BKK DOC, Bangkok International Documentary Awards and Film Festival.
% de baja en nuestra recaudación.
Un cuento de hada que dice que tú mismo vas a hacer tu...
¿Llevas con la aparición de Uber?
Con Uber tenemos hoy por hoy un 50% de baja en nuestra recaudación.
Un cuento de hada que dice que tú mismo vas a ser tu propio jefe.
Sí.
Y al pasar del tiempo te das cuenta que ellos te van como controlando, ya se está creando una relación de dependencia.
Si se accidentan, nadie se hace cargo. 15, 16, 17 horas por día.
El gobierno para solucionar esto.
Have been disastrous. People fear for their lives.
Quand j'ai planté mon premier corail, ça a été comme une révélation. Moi, j'ai senti que je voulais faire quelque chose.
Every 2 seconds, a person is forced to flee their home. The consequences have been disastrous. Our documentary series, Displaced, depicts dramatic humanitarian crises around the world.
I didn't go to university to kill people.
People fear for their lives and their future, so they seek refuge abroad. But what will become of those who stay behind? Displaced on DW.
سکته میکنم. مشکلش چیه که باید حتما برقص شارژ بشه؟
باباست دیگه دوست دارم
80 سال سنشه واسه ما سخته.
خدایی هر وقت این میرقصید من گریم میگیرم.
خب بس من چی؟ من نزدیک 60 سال سنمه.
یعنی اختیار بدن خودم ندارم. اگه نرقصم اصلا من حالم بد میشه. اصلا سکته میکنم.
international queen というビューティーコンテストに。
はい。
My name is Ilona.
أنا ندعقت وعلي بني طالب ونعلي نجدني ولد.
To mark our place in the public space.
はい、本人から大発表です。どうぞ。ミスインターナショナルクイーンというビューティーコンテストに。はい。
My name is Kaede Hatashima。
男性とか女性とかいうのは私の中には関係ないです。自分の息子。
Darme el pie fue la más dura de mi vida. Estaba parada en un semáforo en rojo en la calle Valencia, de mirar hacia el lado, ver el coche y decir no puedo hacer nada. Y mirar a mi alrededor y ver muchísima gente mirándome, pero nadie se acercaba. La decisión de cortarme el pie fue la más dura de mi vida. Tengo un amigo que es profesor de snowboard en Maqueira. Me llamó y me dijo, me he enterado de las pruebas de acceso para el equipo nacional, paralímpico. Como no habían chicas en toda España, vieron una posibilidad, les podía salir bien o mal, pero de enseñarme de cero. Y llamaba a mis amigos llorando de ¿qué hago aquí?
Hoy sí creo que tiene una presión real hacia ella misma, porque sabe en el fondo que puede conseguirlo.
¡Amón! ¡No! ¡Amón, Amón, Amón! ¡Astrid! ¡Astrid! ¡Ay, caída de los dos!
Siempre ha sido la prioridad que esté bien, ¿eh? Pero claro, quieras o no, caes. Y más si quieres hacer una competición que es correr.
Y esperar a que salga bien y a que estemos en unos tiempos normales. Estamos en unos tiempos surrealistes, diria jo.
Tu ara haguessis baixat 2 segons.
Quan jo he baixat, just s'ha parat el crono.
Que pots estar emprenyada, però que no passa res. Que demà vull la World Cup a tope. No, ya está, no, hòstia puta, joder.
Y ahora lo que creo que tiene encima es mucha presión, porque ahora sí que sabe dónde va, sí que sabe lo que se juega, que lo va a dar todo para conseguir una medalla.
En 3 bajadas te lo juegas todo, te juegas el trabajo de 4 años.
Cámara es un indecente y un sinvergüenza.
We have the best healthcare system anywhere in the world.
Our healthcare is in a crisis.
Un zapato de cristal me lo pongo yo.
La desigualdad de género existe en todos los terrenos.
No me exime de no mirar al lado el esfuerzo que tienen que hacer las mujeres por visibilizarse.
Bueno, esto me parece que el cámara es un indecente y un sinvergüenza.
I would urge those right. Do not try to escalate.
Todo fudido, ensanguentado, furado de bala ou no presídio amargando pena máxima.
Für sie ein Leben zu sichern, was sie wirklich richtig gut findet.
Todo fudido, ensanguentado, furado de bala ou no presídio amargando pena máxima. Então chicote estrala, tipo o brasileiro de sociedade se alarma porque o crime não é crime.
お前も悪いだろっていう部分があったんですよ、被害者に対しては。
너와를 구도해야지다. 미나 여 말했으나 너와를 구도해야지다. 워낙 결혼 말 가리라는 루나 산재기 땜발라 누유리스.
So some of my friends, I think like they complain. There's some mentioning about this some sort of false of female physical. That because you see they're writing mainly for monk or male.
Ya
기시 마당마도 공부를 엄청 야부시는 대학 가와야 만주 기시 직당 투기를 다니니까 망부낭요였어.
Tesi mandradu. Mandrawa kardu sena loju zotola. Chembade potezi temade.
Sita kangi tenden chirisi solujigen. 아니 단다야는 건조 기시만 건전 전라는 지혜라니 권인 전라 집발.
조심하다 조시쇼. 샤쇼 멜론체 디샤와 이바다 사기지용 생겨 메베지 사기지용 생겨 야다.
너네 이득 있으면 이제 내한테 또 좀. 아이 못하.
너래 그도야지다. 미나 여 말이스남 너라 그도야지다. 원나 결로 말 가리라네 두나 산재게 템발라 너유리스.
티네타 상계기 고만 두비야라다 배 계전 장미 숨는 소사야다 소남게 소사야라도다 용야 요나 삼사로 삼삼베데 셈라이디 딘데야 용무도스
Once we put our helmets down, there is no difference. Once we put our helmets down, there is no difference. My shoulders were like this. Feels like slow motion.
Estamos perdendo a capacidade de amar. Cada semana.
Miguel Ángel Gordillo, él es un piloto aviador.
Miguel Ángel Gordillo, y lo vas a ver en un avión construido.
Llegó en unas cajas desde los Estados Unidos. Mitchell lo montó con otros 7 amigos.
Miguel Gordillo ha hecho estos viajes para recopilar muestras del aire en los 2 polos para un proyecto internacional sobre el cambio climático.
Never in the history of Spain a single Spanish aircraft have flown in Antarctica. This is something different.
Yo tengo ganas de hacer un vuelo grande con mis aviones, ¿no? Porque me gusta mucho ver lo que es el mundo sin fronteras, sin límites.
The data that has been found there is very important for the world.
I think in some sense that you have a little bit of crazy to do something like that.
My father likes to fly. With him, you can do everything.
Some people fly for a living, but the passion for flying drives you to jump into the cockpit and see the world and contribute something bigger than yourself.
I have seen the world, I have seen the impact of global warming. Ice is melting, it is not a fate. If Escape Polaris opens our eyes and helps to have our children in a better world, the full project will have been worth it.
Toutes les merveilles qu'elles contiennent. Une inscription au charbon pourrait peut-être remettre en cause la date de l'éruption.
살려주세요. 잘못했어요. 죄송해요. 아니... 많이 보고 싶어요.
저는 진정한 사랑을 찾고 싶어요. 제발 좀 찾아주세요. 우리 애가 방금 여기 있었어. 어디 간 거야? 어디 갔어? 딸을 만날 수만 있다면 죽어도 상관없습니다. 잠을 잘 때마다 남편이랑 딸과의 마지막 아침 장면을 계속 보게 됐어요. 남편이랑 딸이랑 놀러 갔던 바로 그날이요. 그때로 돌아가고 싶은 건지 계속 그 꿈을 꾸더라고요.
Discredited.
But you in fact contributed to the discrediting, didn't you? Quite.
Yeah.
Le massacre de 4400 officiers polonais par le NKVD aux ordres de Staline.
강조하면서 우리가 그동안 시정
Ustedes son los genuinos representantes de la opinión pública argentina.
I don't care about the word art because it's been so discredited.
But you in fact contributed to the discrediting, didn't you? Quite deliberately.
Deliberately, yes. So I really want to get rid of it. There's a sort of adoration of art which I find unnecessary.
How can a painting be rejected if there's no jury? Duchamp's nude descending a staircase was perceived as a deliberate provocation.
The nude was rejected. He was very hurt. What he learned was that you just count on yourself.
He had to find a new way to make art.
He felt that art had become rooted in the past. It had to be rethought and taken apart.
Duchamp told you that what art could be is something that you could think.
The idea that an idea is art is implicit and inherent in everything anybody does now.
Duchamp, you can say that he was the father of conceptual art.
It attached itself to lots of artists who were wondering about the origins of art and where to go with it.
It's hard to think of art in the 21st century without Marcel Duchamp.
Oh, my life has been one continuous adventure. I've crossed
multinational businesses. The idea of denying rights to workers is very prevalent.
Rid of it.
He felt that art had become rooted in the past. It had to be rethought and taken apart.
Duchamp
This was the easiest job that I could find. They tell you it's about analyzing trends and recognizing what's happening in the world.
In the computer business and in many other multinational businesses, the idea of denying rights to workers is very prevalent.
We need help. Somebody has to speak because we're hidden, we're silent. We are not allowed to have a voice.
The acting and the scope of what she's shooting would be.
You're my son?
Yeah.
It's news to me.
You didn't know that?
No.
Everybody.
Wenn Sie jetzt der
Have you ever heard of Alice Guy-Blache?
I'm a filmmaker. I've never even heard of that.
I've never heard of Alice. I'd heard of her no, I'd never heard of her.
I think people will think you're making it up.
1895, the Lumières present the first public demonstration of their new invention, the cinématographe, the first reliable method to project motion pictures. Among those invited, a young secretary, she thought, why not use film to tell stories? Alice Guy writes, directs, and produces one of the first narrative films ever made. Alice is one of the first to utilize many film techniques, including close-ups, hand-tinted color, and synchronized sound. Alice founds her own company, where she directs and manages all aspects of production. Following a 2-decade career comprised of 1,000 films that she wrote, directed, or produced, Alice disappears from filmmaking.
How could such an important figure in the birth of cinema not be known? I was determined to do something about it.
My name is Pamela Green, and I'm working on a documentary.
Look at the films being made in train coming into a station, waves breaking on a beach. Who cares? They're just boring subjects. You really needed people like Alice Guy to come in and show you there was more to the cinema than just a stock shot.
She might be really one of the very first directors in the history of film.
These are things that connect directly to her.
This is it. The remains of the family artifacts.
Guy-Blache, an interview with Guy-Blache. Oh my God! The acting and the scope of what she's shooting were beautiful, artistic shots.
She was a filmmaker of rare sensitivity with a remarkably poetic eye.
Most of her films were lost. The stories in the films that did survive were groundbreaking and innovative. But the greatest story of them all was her own.
This is BKK DOC.